everybody, how are you guys doing today? My name is Nick, otherwise known here as Avialence, and welcome back to some Dragon Age Inquisition. I do apologize, it's taken a little bit of time for me to release another Dragon Age Inquisition video. Actually got pretty sick over the last couple of days and didn't have much of a voice, so, without a voice, hard to record commentary. But today, we're going to go ahead and hop right into it and show you guys some of Crestwood. So Crestwood is one of the newer free roam areas, and this area is plagued by the undead. So when you first show up here, it's pouring down rain, everything's in chaos, and there's undead roaming everywhere across the map. So you're here for a bigger reason, right? But that is part of the main story, so I'm going to go ahead and contain that for you guys. The main plot here, though, with the free roam content, so to speak, is helping out the mayor. So, you go and you arrive and you run into the small town of Crestwood, the new Crestwood, right? And you realize that the old Crestwood is sunken underneath a lake. It was actually drowned out during the Blight in order to save the area from darkspawns. They drowned all the darkspawn in old Crestwood. Now, you're starting to figure out a couple different things while you're here, and one of those is that the undead that are roaming around the area, are coming out of this rift. Now, this rift is obviously a rift you can close. You're not sure why the undead are coming out of it, because typically, it's just demons coming out of these rifts, but you want to work to go ahead and close that. So, one of the first steps here is obviously securing the dam, and the dam is behind a fort called Crestwood. And Crestwood is an area where the bandits are operating out of, and these bandits are taking advantage of the undead, right? And they're taking up this fort as well as sending out patrols to go ahead and loot various people, right? So, we got a caravan going on the road. Well, the bandits are probably going to take it out and attempt to loot it. So, that's the main goal here. And what we're going to do in this video is go ahead and take Crestwood. Now, this is actually the first fort I have taken in Dragon Age. There's various forts all across the areas. And the cool thing about these forts is, once you've secured them, it's actually going to change the way the region operates, which I think is really cool. So, I'm at that point where I've just gotten to Skyhold, So just got to Skyhold, got through some of the main quests there. I'm very, very behind on Dragon Age, as a matter of fact, which is something that's a little disappointing, to be perfectly honest with you guys. Like, I've been live streaming the game, over on my Twitch page, and over the last couple of days, I've been sick, and then I also have had a lot of schoolwork. We're coming up on finals. So, all the stream guys, when I first started playing it last week, were like, all right, well, I'm excited to grab the game, Nick, so I'm not going to watch it, and just to avoid spoilers, and I'll catch up to you, and then once I'm caught up, I'll come by and watch the streams, right? Well, here's the funny thing. I've only put about 25 hours into this game at this point in time, which, out of a 150-hour game, a little disappointing to say the least. But I think one thing that's actually kind of interesting is that all of my live stream viewers have actually surpassed me, which is a little disappointing, but, exciting nonetheless. I'm happy that they're enjoying the game and stuff, but, man, it was killing me going through here and realizing that, like, wow, I'm that far behind. So anyway, here is Crestwood, right? Now, one thing that I thought was a little surprising is that you literally just bust down the main gate. I'd be kind of cool to have some Inquisition forces come down with a battering ram, and help me bust it open. But the one thing I was really surprised by is just how detailed this keep is. So it is a legitimate keep, There's various ways for me to get around and capture the areas. And I rolled up in here with my Frost Mage, I've actually got a pretty good party composition going on right now that I'm very proud of. So personally, I'm playing a mage on the Inquisitor, as I'm sure you guys already know. And, on my official playthrough, instead of my early access video, which is the first Dragon Age video I released here, that was early access gameplay. I ended up starting a rogue, and I played rogue for the first 7 or so hours of the game. But then I really didn't enjoy the rogue as much as I thought I would. I just wanted to play a mage. And for all of you guys who are mages out there in the Dragon Age Inquisition universe, and I guess in the Dragon Age universe in general, you know that once you play a mage, it's difficult to go back and play another class. At least I've found out, because I love having the control that being a mage gives me. Especially in this game, too, because the casting animations are gorgeous, and a lot of the animations and stuff with the various abilities are quite amazing. And now that we have the barriers and everything, and there's no healing potions, so to speak, beyond those 8 or 12 upgrade, it's very important to have something like barriers in the game. So, I've thoroughly enjoyed the mage, right? And I went ahead and I worked on a frost-based build. So, this is my frost-based build. I've got a couple points in magic as far as, like, barriers go. So, I do have a couple points in barrier magic. And then most of it's actually in frost magic with a single point in elemental magic in order to get the barrage if I'm using a frost staff, right? The energy barrage. So it's been a different gameplay experience, but the one thing that I really like about Frost is just how controlling it is when it comes down to the battlefield. I have a Frost Mine, and my Frost Mine, once upgraded, anyone that's frozen actually loses 100% of their armor. So for those heavily armored targets, if I can freeze them, right, I drop a Frost Mine, and then Blackwall and Cassandra terrorize, right? Now, I've got Varric just because I like having Varric around. I'm trying to find a decent build for him that works for Varric. Since actually filming this video, I've actually gone ahead and swapped it to a lot of stealth with Varric just so he stays alive a lot better, so to speak, or a lot easier. Because Varric tends to rush up, and then that's that, right? So I gave him a lot of poison weapons, a lot of stealth abilities, and then, of course, the basic crossbow abilities. But Varric hasn't been my favorite. If I liked Sarah's character more, I'd probably be playing with Sarah in my party. However, I'm just not the biggest fan of her character in general. So I've been rolling with Cassandra because I'm romancing the chick. Cassandra's awesome, and the various abilities Cassandra has are great. I mean, speaking of abilities too, this is actually a Rift ability. So once you progress further enough in the story, you start to unlock more about the mark on your hand. And it gives you access to these Rift abilities, which are focus abilities. This is actually really cool, too. So each character will slowly unlock focus abilities. And you'll see a little bar on the right-hand corner of my screen here, down on the bottom, around my mana bar. And basically, the more hits my party gets, this little tiny blue diamond bar will start generating. And once it's full, it'll turn into a yellow bar. And that allows me to use focus abilities. Now, various trees have various focus abilities. And at this point in time, I think I only have the Rift one. There's a AoE heal one, though, that, my Knight Enchanter has as well. Although, personally, I'm probably thinking Rift Mage, because Knight Enchanter changes you into a total melee build, and I'm not quite sure how I feel about that. Anyway, though, moving on, when I was talking about the party here, so I did talk about Varric, I did talk briefly about Cassandra, and then, I tried a couple different builds, right? Naturally, I had always rolled with 2 mages, a rogue, and then a tank. But I found that in this game, since the tanks have guard, and I guess the warriors have guard in general, warriors are a lot more fun to play with and have in your party because they can soak up a shit ton of damage, which is something that, I wasn't used to seeing in the entire Dragon Age game series. So, I have since been using 2 tanks, and I know a lot of people will kind of get bent up about that. I know a lot of people like to use a 2-handed DPS warrior than a tank as well, which, that's not bad either. I've tried using Iron Bull, Cassandra, and Varric, and it's actually worked quite well. I just found that Iron Bull was dying very quickly, and maybe it's because I put a bunch of taunt abilities on him, but I'm not quite sure. So when it came down to that, I ended up doing Blackwall Cassandra, and they're great. They're both tanks. They both have great weapons, which I've found absolutely helps. But the nice thing is I am playing a Frost Mage, so when I do all those AoE freezes and the single freeze with, Winter's Grasp and things of that nature, the damage bonus really outweighs the Sword and Board build, right? So they still are able to do a lot of damage as Sword and Board, but when I do the various freezes and stuff, it actually helps a lot because it does remove 100% of that armor, which is just a godsend. I have thoroughly enjoyed playing a Frost Mage. I'm really excited to go ahead and expand on that as well. Playing a Frost Mage with a Rift Mage. I tried Knight Enchanter. I don't have any footage to show you guys right now. Maybe I'll go ahead and pull some up later. But Knight Enchanter is, essentially Arcane Warrior. But the interesting thing about Knight Enchanter is it's broken. It's very broken. I started playing it, and I started to realize, this is bad. This is really bad. Namely because, whenever you get access to a Spirit Blade, which is a melee blade. And this melee blade actually just allows you to constantly use it. It sucks up a little bit of your mana, but it also regens mana, so there's that. And then also, it allows you to recharge your barrier with each melee hit. So technically you don't die, as long as you can keep getting those melee hits in there. A little disappointed by that, so I think I'm actually going to go Rift Mage, because I do prefer a bit of a challenge in my game, and not playing a class like that. Namely, too, because it's just holding down one button, and, that's it, right? There's not a lot of interesting gameplay mechanics there. So, I think I'm personally going to go Rift Mage as I'm going through the playthrough, but I found that it was very interesting to see what that spec could do. So, maybe I'll show some gameplay of the Knight Enchanter later in the week or something along those lines, but anyway, so we are at the top of Carbonok now. We're working on the boss, and the cool thing about doing the free roam in this game that I've really appreciated is you actually get a lot of good loot. So for this Highwayman Chief, he actually drops his hammer, and the cool thing is his hammer actually has a name and a keepsake to it. I'm not sure if I show it in this gameplay footage or not, but regardless, it's still pretty neat. So, you know, he'll actually drop his hammer, and then the hammer is, you know, a legendary piece of gear or whatever, which, you know, you can then equip on your party member. One thing I was very surprised by, too, is, like, in the hinterlands, for example, I discovered all the landmarks. And all the landmarks point to this woman called Avar, Sword Singer, right? And, you know, or Axe Singer, excuse me. And I ended up doing a excavation quest, and, you know, Cullen comes back, and he's like, well, you know, apparently axe to the Avar meant staff, so here's the kick-ass fire staff for you. And at that time, I was level 7, the staff was level 11, but it's a powerhouse, you know, and at this point in time, I'm actually using it, and it's an absolute blast to use stuff like that. So, I don't know, I mean, I'm playing a lot of this game, guys. I'm thoroughly enjoying every bit of this game, which is something there you go, The Last Stand, which is something I didn't expect to do, but, you know, Dragon Age is definitely my game of the year so far. We'll see how it plays out, though. So, anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you had a good time. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more. And sorry it took me so long, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. My name is Nick, otherwise known here as Avialence. I will see you guys in the next video.